As hello, everyone, and welcome to our first end of the year review here for Pride FC. As we got some awards and stuff for this Bono episode to run through, and some other kind of behind the curtain shit that you can kind of see and see how we're doing so far. First, we'll look at the mail, though, like we always do, and a couple of new signees for Pride once we see it coming. As Mauricio Shogun Rua's brother, Murlio, as Rua. He is signed to Pride. I believe he's 3-0? 4-0. 4-0, that's going to be awesome. Obviously, he's kind of been overlooked by Mauricio, but Murlio is a bad motherfucker too, nonetheless. So that's going to be awesome to see. The Anderson Silva Chael Sonnen fight, Anderson Silva won pretty much almost the same way against Chael Sonnen as a late TKO in the third round, which obviously was like the fifth round in their fight because of it was a title fight, but still kind of went the same thing. But except for obviously it wasn't TKO, it was a triangle. But somewhat, kind of the same idea. But there's Anderson Silva there getting signed by us too, so that's huge. I love Anderson, the Spider Silva, and that's awesome. As Sean Shirk, the Muscle Shark, failed a drug test. I thought that was funny. He tested positive for PEDs at the Trig Matt Hughes card, which obviously, if you know anything, the Sean Shirk, he looks like a fucking beast and a half. We don't have a body picture, damn. Something for a body picture, but for those who know, he's a roided up man. Very, very roided up man. As Rich Franklin joined Team Punishment too, that's huge. So that's cool. As let's see, Alexei Olenek, he signed with us at 10-2. Obviously, this is like a picture from like very recently. He doesn't look like this now. During this time, this is like from 2016, 2018, something like that. This render, but he's the only MMA fighter to fight and win, I think, in four decades. He fought in the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and then he won a fight this year in 2020. So that's cool. He is a bad motherfucker, Ukrainian. Get sambo judo. Anytime you see one of those sambo judo fucking Russian, Ukrainian fellers, he's a bad motherfucker. And then he's at Red Devil Sport, he's a bad man for sure. And then Andrei Arlovsky, who I was kind of tentative about signing. That's why he's on a standard contract, because he is 3-2, which I love Andrei Arlovsky in real life. But here in the mod, he's kind of been hit and miss. We'll look at his fight history real quick. He lost here against John Marsh in a split decision, and then but he's won his last 3 fights, and 2 of them by knockout. He is a bad motherfucker. He will try to throw and stand and use his sambo, but also boxing skills too. Bad man. He's a bad man. That's gonna be a lot of fun to have him in the heavyweight division. As then Kazuri Murakami, he got cut by Pancrase. I love Kazuri Murakami from the Pro Wrestling World. Probably won't sign him because he's 5-6. He's 1-0 in Pride, but he's only a mid-level regional name value, so it's kind of like even though we could use some Japanese names, it's fine. We got Takayama coming this year. Whenever he debuts in the mod, we'll sign him up, so that'll be a Japanese name. Because obviously, Alexander Otsuka and all those guys, and Yoji Anjo, those guys have very negative records. We'll have to kind of cut them out and bring in more Japanese talent to kind of replace them. As before we get into the actual awards, I want to look at kind of the event history real quick to kind of just break down everything. So obviously, our first show, the opening round of the Grand Prix, 2000 had a high attendance, 17,960, a 4 million gate, 78 critical, 96 commercial, as and that was the only excellent fight we've seen so far. Kazuki Fujita and Nimon, as that's just kind of awesome that's an excellent fight. As the finals was a 72, so a little bit down from the 76, which had a fantastic rating from Ogawa and Don Fry. Then Tom Erickson and Sakuraba was poor. Which Tom Erickson also fought 3 times, though, which, started from average to awful. Basically, he's fought 15 minutes here, now he's fought 30, and now he's fighting 45 here towards the end. So, 45 minutes of fighting on one night, that is a lot. That's kind of my defense of Tom Erickson. The Grand Prix, it's a fun idea on paper, but obviously it has a lot of flaws. But there's some awesome fights, though, from it. This Igor Goodrich fight was awesome. This Sakuraba Igor, that was very anticipated in my perspective. This kind of co-main event, just a kind of filler, was out of nowhere fantastic, with Ogawa getting the rear naked choke as the New Blood show, which that's a 74, a little bit higher than the 72, but still kind of mid-70s. As surprise, actually, this didn't do better, obviously, with the Mark Kerr, Carlos Barreto, poor. But, I mean, a good main event, a fantastic co-main event was Nobika Takada and Mike Bork, with a great match and a good match. Like, it just seemed like it was going to be a little bit better. Plus, the prelims are good and decent. But Vanderlei Silva knocking out Enzo Gracie. That was a lot of fun. As also in Kanto, 11,959, which that was a little bit down from the finals, from the Grand Prix and whatnot. But it was just a regular card, so there is that. As then the Return of the Warriors, a 68 and a 77 commercial, which at this point I changed the commercial. We were, it was at NTV, which was a thing massive, and then now it's enormous. It was either way, it's flip flopped. Whichever, I always hated how this doesn't use the same kind of rating system as far as like rating TV and whatnot as TW does, because just TW has a much easier system to remember than over here at WMMA 5 or any of the WMMA the series. They kind of keep the same rating system for the TV, and it just kind of sometimes it's like it's just a bunch of adjectives to describe bigger things. After it's big, it's it's like massive, enormous, and stuff like that. Just kind of irritating. As then the last one, which you see the commercial rating went up because now it's NHX General at Kinky, which is 14,000, which is more than what we got at the previous two Kanto fights, as Okawa and Nakata, which obviously you look at the card, it felt like it was going to be a little bit better of a rating because there was like nothing bad, but it was just a bunch of average and decent, but only one great and one good. So that's just kind of why that was a 66. As long as it's not below a 60, it's okay. But it's kind of funny how it started off as a 78, and then a 72, 74 back up, and then just went back down again. But I'll admit this card right here, Pride 11 Battle of the Rising Sun. It's not the greatest card. This was just mainly for the Ogawa Takada, giving Ogawa another big win, bumping him up at his hometown. And Jeremy Horn, his debut. Royce Gracie didn't want to fight really anybody big. I want to do Vanderlei Silva and Royce Gracie to have him keep going against the Gracies, but he didn't want that, so couldn't have that happen. Even turned fantasy booking off, still couldn't get that fight to happen. So we had Jeremy Horn, Royce Gracie instead, which somehow got the split decision. And then in the Mark Coleman Don Fry fight, as much as I love like those guys, just they're not getting good ratings. Don Fry though had a great fight with Ogawa, so we're giving him a benefit of the doubt. But and then the Guy Metzger Enzo Gracie fight, that was good. And here Mike Bork, even though he's 2-3 and he's 0-2 in Pride, he's had some great fucking fights. He had a fantastic fight with Takada, had a good fight with Tellingman. So it's just kind of, even though he's losing, he's having great fights. So we got to kind of keep him around, or wanting to keep him around. Then that's just to get Rich Franklin a win. So there's a lot of just kind of filler and giving guys wins. But we'll see how the next card goes at the Pride 12 Cold Fury, which was usually a December card, but we couldn't get that kind of happening, so we had to settle for a January card. As we'll go through the awards, just see how that goes. Fighter of the Year is Vitor Belfort with his win over Ronaldo Sobral and Jorel de Oliveira, who, surprising. I'm surprised it was not Vanderlei Silva. I'm sure it was close, because, I mean, he's only the second-ranked pound-for-pound guy in the world, number one in lightweight, but it's interesting, because he's, he had two good fights, though. I mean, he did have that, but it's just kind of compared to everybody else. The Ronaldo Sobral win, that was huge, though. 57 seconds, the TKO win over Ronaldo Sobral. That was crazy, nonetheless, but I figured it'd be Vanderlei Silva. Company of the Year was UFC, which, that makes sense, though, because I feel like they've put on more cards than we did. If we just kind of look at their recent events here. I see it here, but I don't think we can click over there. But just history. So I think it started with. Nope, it was way down here. Yeah, so it started here. So they've had 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. They had 9 cards, which we had like 5. So I mean that makes sense for them to have. They have a pretty huge roster too, nonetheless. I mean they got so many people, and that's what happens when you have a much bigger divisions. Because we have only 2, heavyweight and middleweight, which and they're about 20 people each, and then they have a light heavyweight, welterweight, lightweight, which is fine. We're not. I'm not really. Don't really care about the company of the year thing. Fight of the year was Kazuki Fujita and Hans Niemann in the opening round. The first ever main card fight won Fight of the Year. The Blur Cat. So that was cool. That was the only, I guess, excellent fight of the year. So that was cool. Knockout of the year was at UFC 29. Jorge Patino KO'd Eric Paulson as at UFC 29. Saito Gomi 2. As in the show of the year was a pancrase show, rather. So I'm losing my voice midway through this recording. That's fun. As pancrase is Funaki and Taktroff as a Masagatsu Funaki getting the unanimous decision win over Oleg Taktroff. So that was interesting. That I got show of the year. I just kind of want to see what the rating was. See if we can find it. There we go. Yeah, 80 critical rating. So they had a fantastic fight here. Good, great. And a poor co-main. Heath Herring, too. Which Heath Herring needs to make his Pride debut. Oh, it's coming up. Gary Goodrich. Which that's going to be what a fight that's going to be, too. Gary Goodrich, Heath Herring. As submission of the year was at Pancrase as well. So Pancrase getting the show of the year and submission of the year. Rookie of the year, Alistair Overeem, the Demolition Man. 2-0 at 20 years old. Surprised he got it because, but he's getting, this is going to be a great fight too. Fujita and Overeem. That's going to be awesome. As now he's 3-1 though, since that happened. But he was 2-0 here against Eden Rings. Now, in Pride, main event of the year was obviously Funaki and Taktarov. Team of the year, Team Punishment, which is now, Tito Ortiz's thing, which I'm surprised, but it does have Quentin Rampage Jackson. It's got Tom Erickson. It now has Rich Franklin. So, I mean, some big names as far as Pride goes, but, I mean, Tito Ortiz did lose to fucking Chuck. Yep, and they lost to Frank Shamrock, too, but that was before the mod started. So, I thought that was interesting. That Team Punishment got it. And then upset of the year was Tom Erickson over Mark Coleman. That was, obviously Mark Coleman in real life wins the whole goddamn thing. Here he gets upset about Tom Erickson, who wins the whole damn thing. As the worst fight was, and Pancrase as well. So Pancrase had the main event of the year and also the worst fight of the year. As also in that same fight, in that same show. Which that's kind of funny, and I guess counterintuitive, that they have also the show of the year that had the worst fight of the year on the card. So that just kind of doesn't make any goddamn sense. Hopefully we get Shimmy Shadato. That motherfucker's a bad man. Bad man in the kickboxing world. Also, he did fight in Pride too, so that does help. Hopefully we sign him. As, listen, we got 13 minutes. I'm trying to think what else we can look for. We got to show the next card, Pride 12 Cold Fury, which main evented by Instant Unknown and Vitor Belfort, the fighter of the year in the year 2000. So he's going to look to kick off his 2001 year off with a bang. For Instant Unknown, this Gary Goodrich Heath Herring fight is going to be fucking awesome. Dan Anderson and Jorel de Oliveira, as they've been kind of going back and forth on building up a fight. So that's probably going to have a good rating, good fight into it. Ronaldo Brawl and Ellen goes. That should be a good little grappling session. As Fujita and Alistair Overeem, the Demolition Man, making his debut against Fujita. As it's Fedor Emelianenko taking on Rodrigo Gracie. Rodrigo making his debut against Fedor Emelianenko. In a catchweight bout, that's going to be tough. Fedor's probably going to win. And then Ebenezer Fontes Baraga and Carlos Newton. Carlos Newton, I don't think, has been on the main card I don't think he's ever been on the main card. He's maybe one time, but I don't think so. So this was a prelim fight. Pretty sure this was a prelim fight. Could be, yeah, it was. So yeah, he's been on the prelim this whole time. I love Carlos Noonan. We gotta figure out a way to get him on the main card. And then Masasaki Satake against Hans Niemann. Maybe Hans' last fight here in Pride, even though that excellent Fujita bout. We just, he's lost to Quentin Rampage Jackson. It was decent, and I'm sure this would be decent too. But hopefully Masasaki Satake gets the win there, as he's been desperate for a win. As then the collision course, Pride 13 card, we only got 2 fights on it. Jeremy Horn, Kai Metzger, Mark Coleman, and Gilbert Vell, as we're just kind of looking to see who would be available. Next up, we'll do absences. That's a little easier to kind of see. So we're going to have the Spider, got Vlasky, probably have Ogawa, Morlio, and then probably Hoyce and Trey Tellingman. Some time on that card. Also, and it's going to be close, though, too. We're going to see how the Pride 12 card goes. Maybe someone gets knocked out in the first 5 seconds, and they'll be able to be on this card as well. Because it's not till March. So, I mean, it's a bit of a ways away. Hopefully we could fill out the card. I'm kind of scared. We put maybe a little too close to Pride 12. But we got some guys coming in, though, too. Hopefully we'll get some more guys coming in due time. But as far as also who's not been booked, just kind of look at that. Tom Erickson has been booked. In the middleweight card, there's a lot of people. Vanderlei Silva, we're just kind of, he's 4-0. He's on a fucking tear. Want to have something involved with that. And then we got Ryan Gracie, who's a bit of an asshole trying to book people. Like, alright, him and Quentin Rampage Jackson. Rampage is minus 390. He's the favorite against Ryan Gracie. Now, he is only a low-level regional, but I have fantasy booking turned off. Does not matter, though. He is not wanting to fight Quentin Rampage Jackson. He's fucking scared. Scared of him. And then, same thing, Rich Franklin. 4-0. It's a little closer. He's got the edge. Minus 130. Won't fight him, because he's mid-level regional. And, think of Kira Shoji, too. He will fight him. But it'd be a squash. Same thing, though. 5-5-5 for Kira Shoji. And that might be what we have to do, though. And then, let's say when they just Vanderlei Silva and Ryan Gracie, just have him get murdered. He won't do it. Because of, obviously, yeah. Yep. Where the Athletic Commission stepped in and it goes, we don't even want this. So yeah, Ryan Gracie's just a bit of a problem to book. Vanderlei Silva's kind of like, alright, we're going to wait for him to kind of see the right opponent. Obviously, down the line, we want to do Vanderlei Silva, Quentin Rampage Jackson, just not yet. Just not yet. Just got to wait it out a little bit, But that's going to be an awesome fight down the road. Same thing with this Rich Franklin Vanderlei Silva fight, which not yet, though. Still, obviously, it's a little bit higher than what the Rampage Jackson fight is. But, we got to wait and see for that. And, yeah, and just kind of seeing, because obviously Quentin Rampage Jackson has both fought, they haven't fought each other. Thought they did before, but obviously now it's just kind of be no point. Would be fun to do Tom Erickson, Quentin Rampage Jackson, a catchweight fight. But I just want to see Tom Erickson get his fucking clock cleaned is the thing here with this. Because obviously, he's been on a tear, 11-1-1. With his wrestling background and team punishment background, punishment versus punishment probably wouldn't happen. We'll just kind of see if we can do it. Yep. And they can't come to weight problems, too. But that's just kind of the thing that happens. We could just bump Rampage up for a heavyweight fight again like we did with Atsuka here. But it just wouldn't really be worth it. So that's just kind of where we're at. Challenges, just as far as for the heavyweight division, the Kiriguchi Igor fight. That's going to be, that's up there. Mark Coleman, Igor, that hasn't been accepted yet. Jeremy Horn and Incident No Way, we need to do that down the line. And once Sakuraba comes back, Vanderlei Silva and Sakuraba, that's going to be crazy. Also, this Ricardo Arona Ryan Gracie fight, we tried to make this happen at Pride 12 Cold Fury, but Ryan Gracie refused, of course. So Ryan Gracie is just a bit of an asshole. And Hoyces, the Gracies are just, they're tough to book. Most of them are politicking sons of bitches. That's what it comes down to. Oh, we also have Alexei Oleinik and Bob Schreiber in the prelims. So that's, Oleinik's debut against Bob Schreiber. So that's going to be fun, too, to give him a easy win. I think minus 870 against Bob. So there's just kind of where we're at in the world, how we're doing and whatnot. We have, let's see if we look at the records. So yeah, just kind of best show commercial-wise was us, the opening round, 96%. Most broadcast revenue, we got $1 million for the Battle of the Rising Sun show. Obviously, we have that. And submission. Oh, well, it's the submission for Jito over Hans Niemann, even though that didn't win the award. That was weird. As quickest win, Alexei Oleinik over Sergei Batarov at the M1, which that was 41 seconds. Quickest knockout, Gary Marker, 47 seconds. Awesome. And then quickest submission was in rings. Quickest title win was Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz in 98 seconds. Same thing there, 98 seconds for Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. So I was thinking, once it said that 138, oh wow, yeah, I was completely wrong. I thought the timing was a little different. I thought it was in the second round for some reason. But yeah, that was in 98 fucking seconds. Almost a minute. Wow. So that was just a little breakdown stats-wise. We might be going to CBS for the American show. We're trying, because I think right now in media, I think we're just on Access. So we'll probably change that to CBS to get even popular in the U.S. That's kind of what the goal is. But yep, that's where we're at. As we'll catch you guys probably tomorrow. Who knows? I might do some All-Star Pro Wrestling 3, just to play around with that. Not really sure, to be honest. It's kind of... right now, my PS4 controller port is just kind of fucked. It's a little fuckery to play with on the computer. Like, just the plug-in, I don't know. I just gotta get a new cord, is all it is. But, with this fucking epidemic going on, getting stuff from Amazon's a little tough right now. But, who knows? Well, we might figure something out. We might just play the intro and that's it. And just upload it. I probably won't do that. That's a little shitty. But... definitely we'll have some stuff in the pipeline for sure for tomorrow and Friday. We'll probably stop at Saturday, so, just Thursday, Friday, look out for that. And then, because, it's going to keep going. This epidemic, I don't think it's closing down anytime soon. As long as there's diagnosis being done and it keeps on rising, that's when, it's not going to go down anytime soon. I predict it's going to keep on going up until Easter, which that's April 12th. I believe it might be the 11th or 12th. It's going to keep on going up from then, and we'll get at least 1 million diagnoses just in the U.S. alone, and probably worldwide. Maybe not 1 million diagnoses in the U.S., but at least 1 million worldwide before Easter, that's for sure. I think we're at 700,000 just right now. So, just to kind of... everybody's now an expert in this goddamn pandemic regarding this coronavirus, but it's interesting, just obviously nothing like this in my lifetime where people have been shut down worldwide, this type of thing. But it's very interesting times indeed. Try to keep it as normal as it can be with these, keep it on YouTube and whatnot. So we shall see though. But we'll catch you guys next time though. Take care, everyone.